Hello and welcome back. I have very interesting news for you today, and I wish that what I'm about to share with you was not true, but it is. All of us realized that this was just a matter of time, and the question was never if, it was when. The largest financial services transfer system, SWIFT, which by the way stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, a Belgian company, just like Euroclear if you want to go ahead and connect the dots. So SWIFT just announced its intention to launch new central bank digital currency platform in 12 to 24 months from now. So in a year to 2 years, all ducks will be in a row and every single thing will be ready for us to be under full and complete control of our governments. That's what this means. I will remind you that since I started researching CBDCs and actively posting videos on it, the timeline has shifted dramatically. Just a little over a year ago, think about it, just a little over a year ago, vague statements made by the Bank for International Settlements as well as a group of political leaders worldwide, the majority of whom were from the United States and Europe, of course, said, oh, you know what, we're not really sure if we even need digital currencies, we're still thinking about it, we're developing legal framework, we're discussing it, it may not even happen, so don't worry about it. Well, just last week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell echoed that, and he gave an extremely vague, I would even go as far as to say, quite embarrassing for a person of his position answer when asked about the Fed's progress on the digital dollar. You can watch the full video with Powell's response over on my Substack, by the way, but here is a short version.
A conclusion that we should propose, or anything like that, that Congress consider legislation to authorize a digital dollar. And it would take legislation by Congress signed by the president to give us the ability to do what we think of as a CBDC, which is really a retail CBDC with the public of it. So we're just a long, long way from that.
And here we are a week later, finding out that SWIFT is launching CBDC platform within the next 2 years. And it might be safe to assume that if this announcement has already been made, the platform is ready to go. It's been tested and they're ready to roll it out. In fact, nobody is hiding this anymore. For example, a recent report reads, Global Bank Messaging Network SWIFT is planning a new platform in the next 1 to 2 years to connect the wave of central bank digital currencies now in development to the existing finance system. This, of course, means that we will see a wave of CBDCs launched by major economies within the next year or two. The move, which would be one of the most significant yet for the CBDC ecosystem, given SWIFT's key role in global banking, is likely to be fine-tuned to when the first major ones are launched. I will remind you that SWIFT has a truly massive network. It is being used in 200 countries, and it is the platform for nearly 1,000 banks worldwide. The report then goes on to explain that around 90% of the world's central banks are now exploring digital versions of the currencies. And I would like to point something out. When they write exploring, we need to understand that what they really mean is aggressively developing while remaining completely silent on the progress and the timeline. During the past 3 years, we have been given bits and pieces, in many cases conflicting and misleading bits and pieces of what's really going on behind closed doors. And of course, I would say that it has been that way by design. SWIFT said that its latest trial took 6 months and it involved 38 central banks in addition to a group of commercial banks and settlement platforms. Reportedly, HSBC, Citibank, and Deutsche Bank were involved. According to SWIFT, the pilot program was one of the largest global collaborations on CBDCs and tokenized assets to date. Central banks from Germany, France, Australia, Singapore, Czech Republic, and Thailand, among others, were involved. This trial run focused on making sure that different countries' CBDCs can all be used together, even if built on different protocols on different platforms. It also showed that they could be used in highly complex trade or foreign exchange payments. SWIFT said, and I quote here, "It's moving out of experimental stage towards something that is becoming a reality." So what does this mean? It means that we need to use the next, I would say, 12 months to prepare for CBDC launch. The fact that Fed Chair Jerome Powell gave such a vague answer without providing any valuable information whatsoever should tell us something. It should tell us that there's likely a very important event that should, in theory, take place later this year. You know what it is. And because the digital dollar progress is kept behind closed doors, it will likely be a surprise to us all and will provide a quote-unquote a solution to a problem. It's part of the problem reaction solution playbook. SWIFT mentioned a recent forecast from Boston Consulting Group that by 2030, around $16 trillion worth of assets could be tokenized, a process where assets like stocks and bonds are transformed into digital chips that can then be issued and traded in real time. Remember that for CBDCs to be rolled out, they will first tokenize all assets, absolutely all assets, to prepare for the digital currency launch.
We tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. How are you preparing? I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. Please show your support. It truly does go a long way. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, consider sharing it, and subscribe both on Rumble and YouTube. I would love to have you back for my next one. And if you enjoy reading, check out my Substack. You will find all of my links in the video description below. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.